Coach Adam Hughes, 7th season, led the Terps to 3 consecutive 500 or better seasons for the first time in nearly a decade. Joined to his right by Samantha Schnitta, the graduate student outside hitter, averaged 2.5 kills per set, and Zoe Huang, senior setter who's a Big Ten sportsmanship honoree. Adam, we'll let you open up with a statement.
Just thrilled to be here. Again, it's my 3rd year doing this, and every year it just reminds me how special this is. So happy we have these two here representing us for a variety of reasons. They've been great leaders for our program, and you know, with this new chapter beginning with Big Ten play, just excited to get rolling. And literally like 2 days, 3 days, it's coming fast. So happy to be here.
Okay, again, just a reminder, please state your name and affiliation when asking a question. Let's start in the back with Lincoln.
Lincoln Arnell, Huskers Illustrated. Adam, this is one of the oldest teams I've seen. How do you use that to your advantage? I don't know how many people you come back for their 5th, 6th year, but it's a lot. How do you use that?
I think we've got 8 seniors coming back this year. It's one of those things where we're wrapping up the COVID generation. I think it's huge for us just because we've got a lot of vets, a lot of experience. It's one of the things we're banking on. You know, the last couple of years, we've had some people have good years individually, but now we're hoping we can put it all together and kind of align that. You know, Anastasia Russ is a great example. 2 years ago, she was all conference, and you know, we're hoping that Schnitta can have a really good breakout year for us. If we can put it all together, we feel like we've got a lot of experience. We're also changing our non-conference scheduling a little bit, trying to attack the RPI as best we possibly can. And to do that, our schedule is kind of all over the place. You know, we're playing some midweek matchups, and yeah, so it is a very, very old group, and you know, it was a great spring for us. Realistically, it was nice to have almost 16 bodies to be able to practice all semester. So we're excited about the beginning of the preseason.
Samantha, you're one of those people who are coming back. What is the strength of having so many people with experience in 5th, 6th years? What does that mean? How do you get that translate to success on the court?
I think it's able to transition in that way because, like, sorry, I'm thinking before I speak. Jumped right into it. Nothing's new. Nothing's a surprise. Like, we've been in this conference. We've been here. I mean, we do have newcomers. We have freshmen. But having so many seniors and, like, to-be graduates, like, allows us to set the tone for the newbies of, like, this is what we're going to do. This is why we do it. This is how we do it. So, yeah.
Alana Goldman, 5 wins. You've had a very consistent Big Ten record over the last couple years. Could you talk a little bit about the intangibles that a casual fan might not notice over the last 3 years and what you're going to do to take the next step forward?
Yeah, we feel like we've built in stability. I mean, that's one of the things that we didn't want to be just a flash in the pan. I think this kind of started in 21 when we were able to beat Wisconsin before they won a national championship, and it was really crucial for us to follow it up with another good season. You know, but what I love, the fact is that we've had 3 successful seasons, and it's not enough. You know, I think people really want us to make the tournament. I think we've talked about it a lot. You know, we spent a whole spring talking about how these are the habits we need, and you know, we really wanted our seniors to come back to see if they take one last shot and see if we can get there. So yeah, for us, it's you know, we've had significant wins. You know, picked up like I said, a good win against Wisconsin a number of years ago. Beat Minnesota at home last year. We've been able to beat Ohio State and Purdue. Conference is getting bigger, obviously getting better. So we know we have a bigger challenge in front of us. But yeah, it's why we all chose to be here. It's the Big Ten.
Coach, players, we have some students, aspiring journalists from Brunson Academy in Chicago. They have some questions for you.
I heard you guys have the toughest questions. That's what the story is upstairs. So,
my name is Lonnie Jackson, and what do you think is the advantage that your team has that no other team has?
yeah, I think the seniors are for sure that, you know, just a lot of experience being in situations, both good and bad. You know, you learn a lot of lessons, and that's one of the challenges when you have a younger crew is, you know, these guys know how we've changed our offense and why we've changed our offense over the last few years, what are the shortcomings and why we're making those transitions, versus some of the newcomers come in and really don't know exactly what the why is behind those things. So we're banking pretty hard on experience, and, you know, I think that's going to serve us well in the long run.
My name is Brandy Foltz, and my question is, what is your greatest accomplishment as an athlete?
That was a good question. Yeah, if you have one.
All right, I'll go first.
Try to think of a good one.
Being a 5'3" setter, it's really hard for me to play at a super high competitive level. So, to be honestly, just being in the Big Ten, being able to compete at this level and see some of the best players in the country is probably my biggest achievement.
Probably like along the same lines. Like when I was getting recruited in high school, I was seen as undersized and like labeled as like maybe not able to compete in the Big Ten. And while I didn't start in the Big Ten, but being able to come to the Big Ten and compete and work against these other players, like it's super cool and a big accomplishment for me.
I was going to coach P for a Big Ten Plus. This is for Samantha and Zoe. You know, you have such a senior-led team, and you talked about that so far. How do you still integrate your young players as much as possible, knowing one injury away, one set away from needing them to step up into a role that maybe they're not getting the reps that at other programs or at other times that they would be getting?
I think our gym does a very good job of being able to get reps equally no matter what. Like when we play sixes, like everybody gets to play a little bit different position and everybody gets tried in different positions. And so with that, we all have the ability to step in for everybody. I think something that's really unique about us is like everybody has the knowledge and the skill level to step into somebody else's role when needed. And I think our support from our older and upperclassmen allows those freshmen to feel confident stepping into those roles. Or if they have questions, they're not scared to ask us.
Yeah, I would also say last year we had a really unique example of someone, when we didn't have a lot of depth when I first got started, a lot of the freshmen had to play right away. And there's a little lack of pressure to that sometimes. There's no one gunning for you. You're just put in that role and it's, hey, trial by fire, figure it out. But you don't learn some of the lessons of what it feels like to battle to win that spot. And so we had some players who've had to deal with that in the last year as we've gotten more depth. And I think they've become stronger because of that. So I think the nice thing with these guys being good leaders is they're teaching the youngsters what that's like. And when you get your opportunities, make the most of them. And when your time is called, you'll earn it. And you know, we trust that you'll make the most of that.
When you were younger, like, was your first sport volleyball or not?
Oh, I started playing volleyball when I was probably 10, but first I played soccer. So I played soccer, volleyball, and basketball. So everything a different season. And then in high school, I threw the javelin. So really did a lot of different things.
Yeah, for me, I didn't do any other sports. It was just volleyball. Started in 4th grade, so pretty young. So I fell in love with it pretty hard. So.
The Orioles will be mad at me, but I thought I was going to play for the Yankees. I thought it was going to be Don Mattingly, so.
Hi, my name is Terrence Walker. I'm the chaperone for them. So I have a younger sister. She plays volleyball. She's a junior in high school. So what advice would you give her, like, to be prepared to play on that higher level? Because she wants to get in the Big Ten. Like, she wants to get in the higher level of volleyball. So, you know me, I played volleyball in high school, but I didn't, like, play it to, like, I want to get on a higher level. I just played it just to play it for fun.
Sure.
But I want her to live up to her dream that she want to do Big Ten. So what advice would you give a junior in high school to be ready, prepared, mental, physically for a higher level of volleyball?
You want me to take that? That's good.
I'll take it. I was just going to say I think it's hard. I think it's probably harder than some people anticipate. And I think there's a lot of challenge. Like, you really have to grind. Like, you have to be on top of your schoolwork. Like, it's like time management is really important, especially if you're in high school and you want to get to like a high academic school. Like, it's important that you're on top of it, and it puts you above kind of other athletes that might not focus on their academics like that. And I also think just like you have to work, like a lot of reps, a lot of time in the gym. Like it's a grind.
Yeah, I was going to say reps. As many reps as you can get, and especially to get kind of in the weight room. Get used to moving a bar around Olympic lifts. Like, that helps you grow on the court super fast.
And if she's 6'9" and has a massive wingspan, it also helps. Yeah.
Can't teach height. But so when other teams will come play you, they'll oftentimes spend a day in D.C. I live in D.C. Do you guys have anything planned, especially with the addition of the West Coast schools?
They should all do a full day tour outside in the sun, outside all day, walking around.
The mall, it's great.
There's been a history of teams who have done that and then lost to us, and we would ask all of them to come in here and do a tour of DC.
Great.
The walking tour.
Yeah, Must be walking. Yeah, must be walking.
Has to be walking.
If you didn't go to Maryland, what would you go?
I'm from Virginia, so I would say probably like UVA or Tech.
If I didn't play athletics, probably KU. I'm from Kansas, so stay home. But other than that, I wouldn't change where I'm at.
I went to Penn State, so stayed in the Big Ten family.
How do you handle pressure during a competition?
I lean on my teammates. I think that's what we have as a really good culture, is like being able to lean on each other, whether somebody needs the help or somebody doesn't need the help. Like being able to look to the person to the left and to your right and really lean and believe in them.
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely talking to my teammates. But I think in practice, we practice a lot of like these like little competitions where there's like pressure. If like, you don't get the point, you go back to 0, or like if you make an error, like you're minus points. So I think we work a lot on, at least in games, like dealing with pressure and trying to overcome challenges of like feeling like you have to be perfect for a certain point.
Yeah, I would just say you change your mindset towards pressure as a privilege. You realize that you want to be in these situations, and it turns into kind of a joy.
Adam, how does your job as a coach change when you have a team that's this experienced? Right. I mean, you're not coaching the little things, where to go, what to do. Right. So, specifically, what are you able to work on when you have an experienced team?
I think every year I've kind of tried to figure out what the vibe of the group is and see what I need to be to support that. You know, some years it has to be a little bit more supportive. Some years they need a little bit more drive, a little bit more determination. This year it's a little bit more clear. You know, I think they're an eclectic group, realistically. We got a lot of personalities from different different walks of life. And I think we thrive in that kind of scenario. One of our things that we talk about in our culture is be you aligned with us. We got people from all over the country. We now have a student athlete coming from Turkey this year. So I think that's one of the things that actually makes us a big strength. You know, we have some transfers too who have brought some of their experiences with us. So for me, it's trying to find, you know, this common ground between all of that. And I think it's easier when you have a lot more personalities.
Who would you say is your biggest rivalry?
Rivalry, yeah.
I mean, we always say Penn State just because of Hughes and his background there.
I want to beat him so bad. That's the reality of it. I'm really good friends with Katie. I went there. Russ Rose is a dear mentor and like a second father to me. I always joke, in his last year before he retired, I took him to 5. I was up 2-0 and choked that one away, and he ended up winning in 5. He told me he needed that win more than I needed it, and I disagree with him. I needed that win badly. He retired afterwards, but yeah, I would like to beat Penn State. That'd be good.
Any other questions? Yep.
Again, for the players, when you have the young, high schoolers looking to make their college decision, it's not as often where you have players maybe stay locally or play locally, both of you, not necessarily in that situation. But what drew you not only to Maryland, but to stay there?
Well, personally, I'm kind of local. I'm probably about an hour away from College Park, so I grew up driving to Maryland games. I watched a lot of basketball. But I think for me, I really love being close to my family, and I think I really discovered myself and who I am and who I want to be. So I've developed a lot as a person, and I think Maryland and the staff around Maryland and the different opportunities that they offer have really allowed me to grow and find my own, which is why I've stayed.
And then I'd say looking for another school, another program halfway through my collegiate career, I was really looking for a connection with our head coach, our assistant coach, being able to walk in and have a uncomfortable, comfortable conversation. Those conversations with a head coach are uncomfortable. That's what it is. But to know that Hughes, really took care of me and cared for me and who I was, and was able to open up to his family, from the start, from my visit, that was so special to me that I wouldn't ever want to change it. So,
for me, it's people matter. I have my kids around the program a lot. Took them on foreign tour last year. I want them to see the strengths of young women and role models. Honestly, college athletics is changing a lot. And for us as coaches, I think we have to readjust and make sure we keep finding our purpose. I think Zoe nailed it. She's something that her story is why she's here in a lot of ways. She was someone who was trying to kind of find her way a little bit, and now she speaks for our entire athletic department as our SAC president. I think she represents our culture and exactly why, we want her to be here to showcase it.
I Outside of volleyball, do you have any other skills? And also, coach, what is something you would do to make sure your team comes out on top?
You guys can start that.
Outside of volleyball, I think I'm a pretty skilled cook. That might be self-declared, but I enjoy baking and cooking.
I probably also enjoy cooking, but I like to paint. Paint's one of my big things, an outlet that I've always looked to from high school. So whether it's good or not, something I like to do.
I would say, to answer your question, how do we come out on top? I think it's really important to be grounded and have perspective. It allows you to be competitive, to realize that, yes, this matters, but in the grand scheme of things, it's what you're becoming as a result of this. I want them to, embrace the competition. I think this spring we've done a really good job of that. But for us, it's probably just being grounded and having good perspective.
Adam, thoughts on no double touch and the two bros?
Marsha's here too, so I gotta be careful how I say this. Yeah. I do not care about the double at all. I'm a stats guy. I see it called once a match per team. It's something that we don't even really look at. If anything, I think it will just clean the game up a little bit faster. I think the biggest thing will be calming the crowds down when they're yelling for it. It's like, move on. It's already been a thing at the club level. The two libero thing, it doesn't drive me in any direction, realistically. I don't know if we would really use it that often. I'm into continuity at positions and trying to build some confidence in that. So I probably deflect on that and say neutral. Was that a good answer, Marcia? Okay.
Marcia asked me to ask the question, so I'm kidding, Marcia.
Yeah.
A question: toughest venue to play away and your favorite venue to play away?
You guys can start that.
I think toughest is Nebraska. When they get on that run, then the whole environment and the whole gym just takes off, and they just take off with them. And so that's always hard to come back and stop their run and then try to get your own run. And that quiets their crowd, but as soon as they get the ball back, it's really fast. And then probably my favorite is Purdue. The way that their student section just gets involved with you guys and is able to cheer with you, and you're able to have fun with them. And I also believe that their environment is so much like our own that we can use that energy for ourselves. So.
Yeah, I think one of my favorites is Wisconsin. I think last time I had some friends who went to Wisconsin, so I got to meet them kind of outside, around the bleachers, and I got to walk around, and there was taking pictures with the Badger, and I was like, should I get in? It was really kind of fun, and the crowd behind us is really loud and kind of in your face, and I thought it's always fun to play when a team is like that. But hardest, I think Minnesota is also pretty hard. It's a huge gym, and they feel really far away, and it feels almost kind of quiet, but then they get really loud, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, and it's a really big gym, so I like it.
I would say it's hard for me to play at Penn State. As an alum, I don't want to be the center of attention or anything. It's hard to get out of that because I spent so much time in that place. I'm most excited to play at Oregon. Of the 3 new schools, I've never played there. I played at the other 3. And my favorite is probably Madison. I'm a runner, so it's a great place to go for a run.
Last question. You get the last question. How about that?
Ooh, pressure.
Coach, who would you say is your best player?
So I've got 3 daughters, and I've learned you can't have a best daughter. You have a daughter for this, a daughter for that, a daughter for this. So.
All right, so let's make this easier.
Who
would you say is a player basically that is unstoppable against the other team?
We're probably looking at Schnitta to have a breakout season for us. I think if she came in last year and I think was trying to kind of find her way just in what the conference looks like, and I think you see for us it's like watching a trajectory of where you're going. In the second half of the Big Ten, I thought she was playing as best as any opposite in the conference, and I think she's built that confidence over just a number of matches in Big Ten play. So we're hoping that she can lead us there this season.
Adam, Samantha, Zoe, thanks so much. We appreciate you. Oh, do you have another question? Okay, I thought you were looking.
You're good.
Thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.